Hey, I hope everybody's having a great day. Today's video is a little bit different than we've had in the past. It's a clip from a motivational talk that I gave to some students down in San Antonio for my friend Adriel Jones. He teaches down in San Antonio, and I took his class, kind of like a disability awareness lesson. Now, in my talk, I delve into the beginnings of my disability. Now, everybody's story has a beginning, and of course, so does mine. And so you get to kind of hear that today and how things began for me. Now, understand, not everybody with arthrogryposis is affected the same way that I am. In fact, in the last couple of months, I've met a whole lot of people that have arthrogryposis, and some are affected almost like me. Some are affected in other different ways. And then I've seen some folks that you can barely tell that they have arthrogryposis. But you know what? We all have a disability. We all have something that we deal with. And I hope hearing the beginnings of my story helps you deal with your story, even though it may have already started or something that you're dealing with now. So here we go. Here's the beginning of my life. Now, 48 years ago, I was born with a disability called arthrogryposis. Let's say that together. Arthrogryposis. Now, you probably never heard of arthrogryposis because arthrogryposis is one of the rarest disabilities on the planet. The reason that it's one of the rarest disabilities on the planet is that most people that are born with arthrogryposis don't live very long. A matter of fact, y'all, I was only supposed to live for 3 days. The doctors told my mom and dad that if I make it past 3 days, it would be an absolute miracle. There's no way that I'm going to make it more than 3 days. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute. I want you to look at that name, arthrogryposis, for a second up there. Okay? The first part of it sounds like, if you've heard of this, arthritis. Okay? Now, arthritis is a disability that affects older people. If you've got grandparents, you got older parents, there is a high possibility that they've got some form of arthritis. Arthritis affects your joints. So your knuckles, your feet, your toes, your elbows hurt, and they stiffen up, and it really, really hurts sometimes, arthritis. Part of my disability is kind of like arthritis. There are parts of my joints that I cannot move. Like my hands are stuck. I cannot straighten them. If I walked over here and you grabbed my hand and started to pull on it, he'd pull and pull and pull and pull, and eventually snap, it would break. My hand would break, and there'd be blood and bones, and my hand would be flopping, and y'all would be screaming, yelling, and running out of the room and stuff, right? I can't straighten my hands, but I can use my fingers. I am able to use my fingers. Okay? Now, another part of my disability is similar to a disability called muscular dystrophy. And muscular dystrophy is a disability where you can't use your muscles. Where you have muscles, but they don't develop. I have muscles in my arms, but I can't go to the gym and start working out and make them bigger. I can't use my muscles. They're in there, but I can't use them, and I can't develop them, and they can't get bigger. That's part of this disability called arthrogryposis. And like I told y'all earlier, there's very, very, very few people that have this disability because, like I said, most of us born with arthrogryposis don't live very long. Now, 2 years before I was born, my mother was pregnant with what would have been my sister Kimberly. My sister Kimberly would have been 2 years older than me. But Kimberly died inside my mother, inside the womb. So when she gave birth, the baby was already dead. Told my mom and dad, don't have another baby because there's a high possibility that they're going to die also or have a disability. But my parents said, no, we're going on with life, and if the baby has a disability, we'll deal with it. So my mother had me. They got pregnant and I was born. Like I told y'all, 3 days, okay? So I lived 3 days, and I made it past 3 days. And then the doctor, he said, well, maybe you'll make it 3 weeks. And then I made it past 3 weeks. And then you know what the doctor said? Well, maybe 3 months. And then I made it past 3 months. And now guess what? I'm 48, and that doctor, he's dead, so I win. I'm just kidding. I actually don't know if he died or not. But, I mean, you get the point, right? I made it. I made it with something. Now, you're wondering, why was I supposed to die? What was it? It obviously wasn't just the outside. There had to be something wrong with me inside. Okay? Well, here's the problem. Here was the deal. All of us have, in our body, intestines. Okay? And you might have learned about intestines in science class already. But intestines, that's where, after we eat our food, and the food goes in your stomach, and it goes into your intestine, it spreads out to the rest of your body. Okay? My intestines didn't all grow. So when I was a baby, they had to open my body up, they cut out the intestines that didn't grow, and then they sewed together what was left. And then they put the intestines back in my body, and then they did what's called the last rites. The last rites, that's what they do if you're about to die. If they know that you're about to die, they do what's called the last rites. They say, well, hopefully you'll go to heaven whenever you die, because they expected me to die. Okay? So, I made it. I survived. Your intestines are what spreads food to the rest of your body. If I had all of my intestines, by the way, that's why I'm so skinny, right? If I had all my intestines, y'all, I definitely wouldn't be this skinny, because, y'all, I love to eat. I love food. And my wife will tell you, man, I love, and she's one of the best cooks on the planet. Have y'all ever seen that show, 600 Pound Lion?
Yeah.
If I had all my intestines, I would probably be on 600 pounds. That's how much I love to eat. I eat, and I love food. Y'all, I love to eat, but because I don't have all of my intestines, I can't put on a lot of weight. And a lot of people always say, well, you just need to eat more. That's not the problem. That's definitely not the problem, okay? Now, when I was born with what's called club feet. My feet, my toes, were actually curled up underneath my feet. So I couldn't straighten my toes. And then, on top of that, my feet were pointing at each other. So take a second right now and try to point your feet directly at each other. See how hard it is just to do it with your feet. Now take a seat. Okay, now take a seat. Okay, so you see how hard it would be to walk if your feet were like that all the time? I did not walk until I was 3 years old, and that's a picture of me the first day that I walked, because the doctor said there was no way that I was going to walk.
Okay, hey, I hope that you enjoyed my video today and you learned something. That's important. We've got to learn every day. Every day there's a learning opportunity, and today you learned a little bit about my beginnings. You know, we all struggle, and you know, sometimes we overcome our struggles and sometimes it's a little bit harder. But I believe in you, and I know that we can make it. You know, America's going through some tough times right now, and you know, a lot of crazy stuff is going on, but you know, if we band together, if we work together, we can make it through this time. And we'll look back on this time period and we'll say, hey, man, that was a really, really rough time. But we made it. You know, it's going to be tough. And this won't be the end of tough times in our lives. We'll all go through them again, one way or another. But you know what? Stand up for yourself. Stand up and be counted. Do what's right. Do the right thing. And we can make it. Y'all have a great, great day. And remember, I believe in you.